All right, Coach, we live. Let's give him a minute to get in here like we always do.
They want to call you when the show starts.
Huh?
Hey, they want to call you when the show starts.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it happens all the time, Coach. I almost have to always turn on my Do Not Disturb to get through the show because they're going to call. Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you to the HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky, and I'm here with the SWAC legend himself, Johnnie Cole. And we're accompanied by the Rattler himself, Steve Campbell. All right, man, we had an action-packed week, guys. Before we get started, before we wrap this week up, and we got a very special guest before we wrap this week up. But before we get started, I gotta ask, how you doing, Coach?
Great, Coach. I'm doing well, man. Coach, we got to get it in, baby. It's football time, as I am in Arizona. You know, when I was in Texas, I said it's football time, period. So let's get this thing rolling. Got a very, very special guest, very close to me. I kind of was a very little instrumental in his coaching career. And, man, Coach, last time he was here, he was jobless, and within weeks, you know, I want to claim a little bit of it. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I'm excited to have him on, man, and I can't say enough of great things about it.
All right, before we bring our special guest up, Mr. Campbell, how you doing?
Hey, man, listen. You can smell that football in the air. You see the kids with their jerseys and helmets on. You see the dance. You see the coaches getting up in the morning. Everybody's saying they're going to be at the Celebration Bowl. They're going to make it to Atlanta. We had one coach on last night that has those championship aspirations, and had another coach that said he's building to those championship aspirations. But you know what? The one thing, you only got it right here on the Coaches Corner with Johnnie Cole. Right here.
Absolutely. This time of year, Coach, guys, optimism is eternal. Everybody is one game away from that championship right now. You know, one opportunity away, man, and everybody seems to have that optimism, thinking they can do it. But in the SWAC and in the MEAC, there's only going to be one team crowned conference champions.
That's right.
And I think this is an appropriate time to bring up our very special guest, the head coach of the Grambling Tigers, none other than Mickey Joseph. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, fellas. How y'all doing? JC, what's up, baby?
Hey, what's going on? Look, hey, Coach, he in a different color, ain't he? He last time we came with, he was in red, white. Then he was in his personal suit. Look at him. He sit up there in that black and gold, baby.
Yeah.
What's going on, Mick, Coach?
You know, first day on the field today. We reported yesterday, first day today. And, you know, just trying to get out there and improve every day we get out there. You know, it was rough on them today.
Good. Coach, how you doing? I mean, man, you jumping from Nebraska. You out here in Arizona, seeing your kids. You're in New Orleans. Now you're in Baton Rouge. Man, tell how you doing, Coach?
Well, you know, I'm settled back in doing what we do, you know, and trying to get this thing back in order over here. And it's, the landscape of college football is that transfer portal. So, you know, we came in and we evaluated all those kids that we had on the roster, and then we decided who we needed to part ways with and who we needed to keep. And then after we made that decision, then we went out and got the kids that, you know, fit the model that we were looking for. So we 27 to 30 kids left, and we brought 33 in. So now you're just getting the chance to, you know, continue to try to get to know them as a person and how they want to work, and you know, if they want to win for a team or they want to win for themselves. because that's what you're dealing with the transfer portal. Some kids are just out for themselves, and team don't mean too much for them. But I tell them this: as long as you're doing your job, team's gonna mean something for you. You're making plays. The minute you stop making plays, you're gonna be gone anyway. So
Well, Coach, you telling me that the G-Man, y'all paying folks over there now? Y'all got that kind of money? What tree money y'all don't shook?
Look, I tell people like this. I don't have Nebraska and LSU money, you know, but we do have something. And I got a mouthpiece. You know that. I got that from you.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you at home too. You at home.
Yes.
You know all the
no
high
doubt.
school. How important is you being at home, right down the street from mom, dad? You know, your brother, he's somewhere coaching some pro team. I forget now, but
yeah.
How is that helping you in your program?
Well, just with my brother Sammy, my brother Sammy, the younger one, is at ULM. So his house is right across the street from my house. And then, Vance came up last, 2 weeks ago before they started camp for our legend golf tournament. Vance and Terry did. Terry's at Texas advancing with the Broncos. So it's good to be close to family. They, when they need something, they know who to call, and they know when they catch you during football season because you're going to say yes. But it's good to be back. It's good to be back with family.
You talking about them young brothers, because see, I'm one of them young brothers. When I get in trouble, I know how to call them older brothers. They got all the money.
Yeah. Hey, that middle one has all the money in his family.
I forgot you the oldest. You are the oldest. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. But you got money though, Coach. You don't need little brother's money. Not that his money.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead, guys.
Hey, Coach, I wanna thank you because you're the first time return guest on our show. When you were on here last time, you were you were a candidate for a number of vacant jobs all over the country, especially in the HBCU landscape. And I want to say thank you again for being the first repeat guest. But what I wanted to ask you, Coach, because I found that, after going over your bio and things of that nature, we had, really your homeboy on last night, Eddie Robinson.
Oh yeah, that's my dog. That's my dog. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you this, Coach. What kind of foundation did the city of New Orleans have to football foundation that makes it where so many players and coaches come out of that area? It's not like, it's New York or Atlanta or Dallas or Houston, but it's rich in football tradition. And what being from New Orleans in the state of Louisiana means to you as far as your football career?
Well, first of all, I think New Orleans is one of the cities that when they produce a high school football player, we have that grit. We have that. I'm gonna get after you, no matter what. No fear. I'm gonna get with you. So when you walk down that hill, you want some New Orleans boys in your crew. And if you look at our roster consists of Shreveport, Monroe, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans. For the top cities in the state. Lafayette plays good football too, and Lake Charles. But those your four big cities, and that's what our roster consists of. But just when you talk about New Orleans, you're talking about well coached high school football. Very talented. Everybody's related. If you're not related, you say that's your cousin. But we play with a lot of confidence. And when we see the man across from us, we have no fear. We have no fear in our eyes that if I work like him, I'm gonna be to get after him. And that's what you like about New Orleans kids.
Some of those guys, and funny that you say that, Rock and Steve. You guys, Louisiana, don't get the credit that when you talk about high school, first you talk about Florida and or Texas, either way, California, some Ohio. Really, people sleeping on Louisiana because y'all gonna produce some great kids out there. Especially you. How many players did you coach that's in the pros when you was over at LSU? Wide receivers.
Well, we start with Jefferson, Chase, Marshall, Racy, DJ Chalk, Russell Gage, Trey Palmer. The last two Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. A good group.
Oh shoot, Coach done went out, guys. Can you believe that? Can you? And that's who he recruited, Coach. He recruited him. He didn't.
Hey,
He didn't just saying they were on the team. He recruited them and coached them. All those wideouts.
you know, I wanted to point out that connection between Henry Robinson and New Orleans, because that's it's very unique that we get, two coaches from the same hometown coaching in the same conference as head coaches. I think that's very unique. And New Orleans has such a rich tradition of players coming from, and really the New Orleans area, to be perfectly honest, they have such a rich tradition of playing players, not only playing in the pros, but in HBCU football, there are so many players that have come through that have been stars and who have made an impact. And with Coach Robinson and Coach Joseph, I thought it was a very, a coincidental situation that they were back-to-back guests, and they were also both from the city of New Orleans. Go ahead, Coach.
And we both played in the Catholic League. He played at Brother Martin, and I played at Archbishop Shaw. So
Wow.
that's a strong league down in the city with all the Catholic high school. And I think right now, Edna Carr's in it right now. Edna Carr's probably one of the strongest teams in the state or the country that nobody really knows about. But St. Augustine has a game this year against Carter Ritter out of St. Louis. It was going to be a really good game. But we always say this in Louisiana: pound for pound, we know we're the best football state in the country, because at the end of the day, nobody won't get at us. We know Texas is big. We know that's big, but they say Texas, everything's bigger, but Louisiana, we say everything's harder. We got more heart than y'all. So we always say that. But like you said, just around the United States and being here at Grambling with a national brand, you get to run into a lot of coaches outside of Louisiana, and you just respect the coaches. The time they putting in with the players, because what's happening right now with high school kids, they're getting lost. They're getting lost. These 4-stars are not signing anywhere. So we have kids from all over the country, that's calling us. We had a kid from East St. Louis, had some group of 5s, but they're moving slow on him. And so he wanted to get in the boat with us. So you're able to do that, because at the end of the day, I still want to have a roster where I'm developing kids. I think you still can do that at the HBCUs on the FCS level. So my roster is still going to consist of 85%. It's going to be high school kids where I can develop, and I'm going to keep 15% of portal kids and try to get the stability back and get the depth back with high school kids, because I think that builds a championship program. I think when you just get portal kids, I think you just patch it together, and I don't think you can sustain that in FCS.
Go ahead, Coach Campbell.
Well, Coach Joseph, listen, big fan of yours. Me and you around the same age. Now, see, I got to school these folks.
He's a rattler too.
I'm a rattler, but hold on, Coach. Hold on. I'm gonna back you up at Grambling. That's how I let these folks know. See, I used to play baseball in North Baseball League, New Orleans League in Grady Park. Now, you West Bank. See, you gotta let them folks know you from that West Bank. Now, a little bit different. We're from the West Bank. We're all a little bit different.
Yeah.
And your high school is a legendary high school, like you said. You're talking about Brother Martin, St. Aug, your school and everything like that. But Coach, I wanted to talk with 2 things. I'm gonna get to a point. You played in Nebraska. First of all, how did they get you out of the SEC country with the type of talent you had? That's the first question I got. And then the second question, the position you played in Nebraska, which was one of the foremost positions in all of college football, the Nebraska I-back quarterback Nebraska was one of the schools that had black quarterbacks. And you following that long tradition to come up there. And then now you come back home and you actually have the preseason Offensive Player of the Year with Miles Crawley. So kind of tell us about your journey going to Nebraska, coming back to Grambling, and how what you've done being a quarterback, how's that going to help your quarterback, Miles Crawley?
Yeah. Nebraska, when you talk about Nebraska, they don't have a strong high school football tradition there. They have some really good teams there, but they don't have enough talent. So with Nebraska, is always a nationwide when it came down to recruiting. So I mean, they got LC from Ohio, So so we went all over. We had kids from New Jersey. It was just all over the country when you got to Nebraska. And yes, when you got in that quarterback room, they don't tell you how many quarterbacks they have in there. They just tell you where you're going to be. We'll start you at second or third on the depth chart. But when you get in there, it's 10 quarterbacks in there. And it was player of the year in California, player of the year in Texas, player of the year in Louisiana, player of the year in Florida. Everybody was player of the year in Nebraska. So, but it was really competitive. And yes, I thought Nebraska was, and Oklahoma was one of the few schools that played black quarterbacks, back in the days. So, you just take a hat off to Coach Osborne because what he wanted an athletic guy at quarterback for some of the things that he wanted us to do. But at the end of the day, he did teach us football. We audibled. We had I write check with me. So he enhanced our thinking when it came down to football more than we did in high school.
Let me ask you this, Coach, because you came through. Me and you are similar to the same age. Actually, you're from the West Bank. I didn't realize that, but my suite mate at Tyler Junior College, who was a basketball player, was also from the West Bank. A guy named Robert Pack. I don't know if you know Robert Pack.
Pack went to Clark.
Yeah. So anyway,
Pack was in the league for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I wanted to ask you, Coach, coming out of school and at the time you did, being a black quarterback and playing in a major conference in the South, there wasn't a lot of opportunities. Was it important to you when you came out of high school to play quarterback, or you were just playing? Did you make a point to look for an opportunity to play quarterback when you came out of high school? Is what I'm asking.
Well, I had to play quarterback because that's the only position I played growing up. I didn't know how to play any other position. I couldn't play receiver because I couldn't catch. I wasn't playing running back because I wasn't ISO and I wasn't going face up with a linebacker. I wasn't playing corner because I was probably a little too stiff. So the only position I played was quarterback coming up. So I never even entertained. LSU tried to recruit me as a corner, and my dad put that guy out the house. My dad put him out the house because I was going to play quarterback. So I visited Minnesota. I would visit Notre Dame, where Lou Holtz was at. Then I visited Oklahoma with Barry Switzer, and I ended up at Nebraska. But the only position I ever played was quarterback. So I didn't know how to play any other position because that's all I played.
Well, now, let's say Coach is a special kind of quarterback. Coach ran the option, man.
Yeah.
He ran the speed option. You know what I'm saying? He was, that was his thing. So did Solich bring you in?
No, bless his soul, Jack Pierce. Jack Pierce, because you remember back in the days they had off-campus recruiters.
Yeah.
And Jack Pierce brought us in.
Who was your head coach, though?
Osborne.
You was on the Osborne his last couple of years. Okay.
Yeah. So
they ran the speed option. A lot of belly option, a lot of speed.
Triple.
Like the triple option. So Coach was a special package, Coach. And
Yes.
Coach, you're a Nebraska guy. I don't know if you guys know, my brother went to Nebraska.
Yeah, LC.
He was the first black African-American captain on the football program. So that's where I spent a lot of my springs in Omaha and there at the University of Nebraska. So I am a big red a little bit. But Coach, man, you jumped around, you settled. Let's start talking about your program. If you want to go position by position, we here to see what you got. Let me ask you this next question: where do you feel you are at in your program? Can y'all challenge? Are y'all gonna be contenders? You think, or right now you just don't know?
Well, right, just looking around, and I'm still studying the conference. It was really hard for me to pick all conference kids because I really didn't know them. So I had to get, some help from some of the coaches. But I think anytime you get out and you work, I think this conference is even in talent. I think we all kind of get the same type of kids. So I think now he's going to go to, how Miles is going to play. How are we going to get Miles to play? And then how are we going to play up front on the offensive line and the defensive line? Because I think we all have skill positions. Because I think what separates Group of Five and FCS is the O-line and D-line and the quarterback. I think everything else is, because I got some kids here that could have played for me at Nebraska. I got one or two kids here that probably could have played for us skill-wise at LSU. So it's about how well and how much depth we have on the D-line and if we can keep Miles upright, if we can keep Miles up and get him to make really good decisions, I think you can challenge in this conference, because I think this conference is very talented, but I think we get the same type of talent. I don't think anybody's going to just say, I'm just going to really out recruit you, because I think it's a whole bunch of kids out here that looks to go to HBCUs that Group of Fives miss on, or they just say, oh, he's too raw. But I think we can challenge this year, but it depends on how well Mile play and is Mile play in the O-line and D-line. And then I think it's special teams going to be strong, that you got to be really good in special teams to challenge in this conference. And we're working at all of that. But like you said, it's still early. We'll know more, but I'll be to tell you more in December.
Hey, Coach, coming from programs like LSU and Nebraska, who are really known for their interior strength, O-line and D-line, does that help you in not only development, but also being able to spot a player that could help you in that area?
Well, when it came to recruiting O-line and D-line, I was heavily involved here, with closing the deals with these kids and going to see these kids. So I made sure that we made good decisions when we were separating from kids. And I made sure we made great decisions when we was bringing kids in. So I was heavily involved in that. And as far as the skilled kids, they're going to come. But I was really looking and saying, okay, this kid is O-line guy. He bends well. He's really explosive, comes out his hips. With a D-line guy, how he uses his hands, where's his feet at, his eye discipline. So I was heavily involved in that with Jay Smith, our D-line coaches did a really good job of bringing kids in. And then Reggie Nelson, our O-line coach, bringing them in. Because I knew, coming in here, being in this conference, like people don't understand, John, I was in this conference in 1999 with y'all. And so I tease Eddie Robb to tell Eddie Robb, I've been swag, I've been swag,
There you go. You've been swag, but you ain't swag.
Hey, but they always tell me at Grambling that I could have went here and fit in.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So when Doug and Shaq didn't tell me that, I said, okay, I feel good about myself. But like I said, we working over here. We got them in right now. They're in meetings. We about to head out in about 6 minutes. We're gonna blow the horn and we're gonna go out for the 30-minute walkthrough. Give them their snack and get them back up at 6 in the morning. And I think it's the first. These kids are getting used to this schedule. And you can warn these kids and say, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. But this generation is a wide generation, and they got to see for themselves. And that's what I tell our coaches when these kids ask you why. If you're a confident coach, you'll tell them why. Why are we doing something? But we got a good group of kids in the building. Like I said, they're from all over, but the majority, I want to say 75 to 80% of the roster's from Louisiana, because what we did when we went in the portal, we target kids that was from Louisiana and just brought them back home. So I thought the coaches did a really good job of that, because it's Louisiana's a different place now. It's a different place. We got different food. We talk a little different. I can talk. I got 3 accents. I got a Nebraska accent, a New Orleans accent, and then accents to get what I need. So
hey, Coach, as you mentioned your coaches, right? And you had to put together a coaching staff. Can you talk about some of the guys you brought in and what their roles will be with your team?
Well, besides Johnny, I think Eric Dew is probably one of the best play callers that's been through the SWAC, and I think he's going to do a good job here. He's been here before. He's a Louisiana guy. And Jason Rollins, defensive coordinator. He's been around for a while. He's Group of 5. He was at UTSA, Tulane. So, I put some kids together, then you got some young kids, on the staff. But, the 2 major parts is the two coordinators, and Amon, AA. We got him from Texas Southern, a special teams coordinator, and they're doing a really good job of working together. And you got to get on them, to work, because they want to win. But at the end of the day, I always say, it's never Grambling versus Grambling. And so they're doing a really good job of working together and trying to make us a better football team.
Yeah. Coach, man, just working for Grambling. It sounds like that you still kind of searching, you like in the closet, kind of searching, you just found out where the restroom at. But all the legends that been there, and I know they come around,
Yes.
I mean, how does that make you feel? You know, I know it's not intimidating because you've been around some greats yourself, but just do you use that for helping recruiting as well? Those guys that come around?
Yeah, because they had a legend weekend where they were inducting people into the Grambling State Football Hall of Fame. And Shaq came up, Doug came up, Everson Walls, all the boys back in the days. And they had some Thursday. So I was with him the whole weekend. I was with him Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Just hanging out with him. Like I said, my brother Vance and Terry came up and played in the golf tournament. So you do have rich tradition here. You do have 4 Hall of Famers here, here at Grambling. But you have so many guys that played in the National Football League that I got to meet, with the legends, and it was like, man, this is good. This is awesome right here, just to meet these guys, and these guys to say, hey, we happy that you're our coach, but at the end of the day, they all said one thing: we need to win. And so I know this is a pressure cooker. I know the style of play that Grambling they want to have. They want to look a certain way, but at the end of the day, when you Grambling, you're gonna get everybody best shot, and that's what I'm explaining to my kids. But also explaining to my kids, they can't live on what Doug them did. They can't live on a kill. They got to go in the jungle and get their own kill, and our kids understand that right now. But they do respect the G.
Right. Well, you got a big task. The Bayou Classic game is big enough.
Yes.
But they got the rabbit's foot at Southern being the head coach. Coach Graves, he ain't lost the game. It don't matter what side he on, they win the game. So, we know that game is a big game, but he got the rabbit's foot, Coach.
I told him, I said, you're the only guy that jumped in the interim and won both games. And I'm really good friends with Coach with Graves. We call him Groove. He's a great coach, but he's a great person. I've been knowing him for over 25 years, and we get along. And I'm always rooting for them when we're not going to play them. So I always take my hat off to Coach Graves, what he has done. And I worked with him here last time we was at Grambling. But I always tell him, we're going to New Orleans. That's my city. So that's my city. So
he just visited. Ain't he from the East Coast?
Yeah, he's from Virginia Beach.
Yeah. He played at Winston-Salem State under Pete Richardson.
Yeah, he played under Pete. But I love Groove though. I love Graves. He does a great job. He's gonna do a great job at Southern. Like I said, we just gonna root for him, throughout the year until we play us. But everybody know that's a big game. That game changes addresses. So we understand the magnitude of that game, and it's down the line. So we, like I said, we got 12 stop signs that we're gonna stop at, and we'll stop at that one at the last stop sign and see where we're at.
Yeah.
Well, as you mentioned that it changes addresses, the Bayou Classic does. You have the last 2 Southern coaches on your staff, and so
that's right. You see that, huh?
Yo, what y'all gonna be
You
at
said
the
it. I didn't say it.
Y'all gonna be at the 50-yard line, Coach. It might be some elbows up in here, cause that job. Last night we talked to with Eddie about how important the Magic City Classic game is.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Bayou Classic game is one too. So, hey man, I know it's a big game. Your quarterback. Before you gotta go, Coach.
Go ahead. I'm walking to the field, but we good.
Where's he at? You was a part of coaching Darnell Kennedy. One of the greats in the SWAC.
Yeah.
I've been hearing great things about this coach. All right. Tell me something about Crowley that'll make me say, man, let's get it. Let's get it. We throwing 300 a day.
Oh, he about that now. He about throwing that ball. He worse than you want to throw that ball. but I like where he's at right now. I like the middle part where he's at right now. He understands that he's up for a lot of awards, but he's a team player. He's a team player, and he's doing a great job of leading them. I want him to be, when I got here, I want him to be more vocal, and he's doing that right now. So, everything he's getting to deserve, but he's putting the team first, and we agree to that. I'm gonna let y'all say hi to him. He right here.
Coach.
Hey, what's up, Miles? How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Hey, look here now. Look here, I played quarterback in the SWAC too. The one in the middle.
Man.
All right. Teams win championships with great quarterbacks. So I'm putting the pressure on you.
It's all good. I can take it.
You the best in the league now. We want to see.
So-
We want to see Grambling in the Celebration Bowl.
I got you, baby.
Okay.
Hey, well, look, and Johnny, you know what? You know, with me, he can take ass chewing.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah,
Hey.
I can get after him.
And Mick, man, I appreciate you taking this through.
Oh, I appreciate y'all. I
I
gotta get him. I gotta get him on the field.
I got you. Coach.
All right, then, Coach. Thanks for everything, man. We appreciate it. And good luck to start out the season.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Johnny, I'm gonna holler at you.
Okay, my friend. Good luck this year, man. And I'll see you down the road. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, Coach.
All right, Coach. Hey, this is gonna be nice, Coach. We're gonna get into bed for the news. Come on tonight, Coach.
Yeah. And let's start getting some callers coming in with some predictions.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to ask him this, but I guess we'll figure out at some point. I was wondering, was he gonna run? And you may have had conversations with him, Coach. What kind of offensive system do you think he's going to run? Have you had any conversation with him regarding that or anything?
Yeah, they said they're gonna run the base. Their base is what LSU did when he had all those great wide receivers down there. So I take it that they're gonna stretch the field. They're gonna stretch the field and gonna try to spread you out, and then there'll be a big draw and screen kind of team.
Okay. Well, that seems like a little different than what Eric Dooley has run in the past. Eric Dooley's run in the past been more of a zone read kind of quarterback centered system, if I'm correct in describing that, Mr. Campbell. Isn't that what you saw?
This is the thing. What I was getting in, again, I know Coach Joseph had to go, but I literally was down there every game for those championship runs because that's when I was sponsoring Grambling. And what I'm going to say is if Coach Dooley, because you understand something, what they got right now. They've got a great wide receiver. I believe his name is Javon Robinson. They've got a quarterback. That's exactly what they had at Grambling. Now, the question is, do they have what they used to call him Mr. Excitement? That was their running back during those championship years. Can they get that trifecta where you've got the quarterback, the running back, and the great offensive wide receiver to blow the top open? And my thing is with Grambling and just looking at their schedule, they are set to have a big season. The question mark to me is going to be on the defensive side.
Yeah.
I think the offense is going to be fine. I think the offense is going to move the ball, but Grambling has struggled the last couple of years with defense. And Coach, that is a really hard thing to do, to get those big guys up front when you're trying to build that program. And I know that's what Coach Joseph specializes in, and things like he said, hey, I got to get involved with those lines. And I know why he said that, because I'm pretty sure when he looked at that team, because if you looked at Grambling last year, they lost a lot of games, especially that Southern game, because Southern started running the ball and they couldn't stop them. Right. Couldn't stop in the third and fourth quarter. And Grambling lost a lot of close games because they got wore down on the defensive line. And Coach, you know this, the G-men, with the real G, hey man, they were known for the defensive line. They were known for the defensive line.
And they was going to run the ball, too. They were going to
run the ball.
They were going to clock control now. They ran that wing T under Eddie Robinson, man. It was unstoppable until the game changed. Game changed where you couldn't do that, because then now you putting players in different angles on the line of scrimmage. But and everybody kind of caught on to it. So man, that was great, man. That was great. Got a chance to meet the number one quarterback this year in the conference, and kind of got to know where Coach Joseph is. But the thing about it, and I don't know if y'all felt it, I felt not that he's not sure. He's still trying to figure out things and figure out his players and how his coaching staff gonna come together. Because financially, and this is under the table, but it's out. Financially, he didn't get Coach Jackson's money. Coach Jackson was at $400,000, then was able to pay his staff all this money. I don't know why, Steve, that we go out and when we hire just a regular guy, to me, when you hire the big time guy, you don't need to really give him all the money because, one, you're just giving him opportunity. like Eddie George is making $400,000 a year, no experience. Well, to me, it should be the opposite. We give you an opportunity to coach. You know what I mean? So here's what we pay, and be able to pay your assistants. And I think that Coach Joseph had a little trouble being able to pay his assistants money that's wasn't nowhere clear to what Coach Jackson had. You know, so I think, and then when you do that, you pay for what you get, Rocky. You know what I mean? You pay for what you get. And, you know, we talk about these staffs, but if they ain't comfortable, Coach, you know, every open time they get, they're in the office on the phone calling around for jobs. So I hope that ain't Coach Joseph's situation. He hired a bunch of young guys as well on that staff. You know, so, you know, I didn't get that confident Mickey Joseph that I know of. You know, how did you guys feel about that?
Well, Coach, I think, you know, he's in the process of, like you say, he's figuring out where the bathroom is. He's figuring out what he has, what he's recruited. You know, being that this is his first year, he's trying to figure out what he brought in. And as you know, when you come in, you know, late in the recruiting season, all the better players are kind of picked over, you think. And when you end up recruiting later in the year, and maybe you can talk about this, Coach, you're going to end up with some players that have some question marks later in the season. All the sure things get picked up pretty quick. The guys who have question marks, they're going to be available late. They still may be good players, Coach, but the fact of the matter, there's either going to be some development that has to be done, there's going to be some character issues, or there may be some questions about ability.
Yeah, you know, that's a cliche, guys, about when I get in, there's players everywhere. And it's players everywhere, you know, and if opportunities are there, there's players everywhere. It's got to be patient, especially when you're on the FCS level. You know what I'm saying? You got players dropping from Division I all the time. You got kids at Division II schools want to come to Division I, and you right there in the middle, you know. And I hear that a lot about coaches about oh, well, I don't have enough scholarships, I don't have enough funding, I don't have enough, you know, we can't recruit. Man, you can pick that phone up. You know, you ain't got time to cry and all that, and especially now, because people want you to win right now. You got to go out there and turn over some rocks, and you'll find you something every now and then, and you got to be able to put it together. That's why, Rocky, I always talk about program over talent. I've always told you that, program over talent. And so he's
how
got
impactful. How impactful can your program be, Coach, when it's just 1 year, when you're just probably 6 months into your job? You know, you get one recruiting cycle, and though you do have the transfer portal, but I think it takes time for even those players, when you bring them in, to gel and to figure out what you have.
Well, I'm not saying that he should come in and win a championship. You know, we if you look at our rankings, you know, we put him down there. I was just saying the feel that I was getting. You know, he said he moved out 30 players. That's a lot of players. He brought in 23 transfers, and that could be 23 attitudes, Steve. You know what I'm saying? You know, how did these kids get here? You know what I'm saying? So he's got a lot of work to do. And I felt it, and he just didn't sound that confident.
Well, let me break a couple of things down, and I'll tell people this: Grambling, when I was growing up, literally was my second favorite school. That was one of the schools I applied to go to, so I love Grambling. But one thing I like about Grambling, Coach, you can back this up. Far as HBCU football program, they have the strongest football alumni out of all the schools. Their players support that program year in and year out. That's the first thing that's going to help Coach Joseph. So, Coach,
we emphasize that. Former football players support. That is
support that. So what's going to happen is they're going to watch him, and and I will say that, and like I say, Doug Williams took that thing from Shaq Harris, and now he's carrying on the banner, and Kincaid is now back there. You're going to see those guys. They're going to say, Coach, what do you need? And I'm telling you, I have seen it firsthand. They will come up with $100,000 out of nowhere to make sure that those guys are ready to go. I'll tell you another thing, too, about Grambling. When you get down to Grambling, I think a lot of people don't understand how small Grambling is. It is literally 2 streets down the whole campus.
Yeah.
But when you come to Grambling, you want to be at Grambling. And that G means something. And because that whole community is behind you and you put that G on, I'm telling you, Coach gets that thing rolling. Because what's going to happen is, like he said, that North Louisiana and down in North, they are Grambling former players all over, coaching all over Louisiana. And I have heard more than once, I would ask guys, like, how'd you get, man? My coach made me come up here to Grambling. I'm like, he made you come? He's like, oh, yeah. He made me come to Grambling. That's what you hear a lot of those players that will tell you, former players will tell you, that their coaches made them come to Grambling because of what Grambling did for them. So he's going to get a lot of that. What I like about Coach Joseph, he knows how to recruit. And what Coach Joseph is also going to be able to say to a lot of skill, hey, man, you see all those guys in the NFL? I coach those guys.
Right.
I coach those guys. You come to Grambling, I can show you exactly what got them to the NFL. So those are the things that I think is going to bode well for Grambling and him going forward. Because, like I said, I know he can recruit. I know that Grambling alumni base is going to come together. So, Coach, what I think what you saw there with Grambling, I think this is happening to a lot of universities. When they get that big name hire, they got to pay them out. Then they kind of pull back. FAMU's going through the same thing I told with the basketball coach. You know what I mean? Let's pull back. Let's not pay. We got burned and stuff like that. So I think that's what's going to happen. But I think the alumni football players are going to fill that gap, and I know the alumni will fill that gap coming through.
Yeah. Go ahead, Coach.
No. I think the best thing Grambling has going for him, to be honest with you, is that he plays in the West. That's the best thing that he has going for him.
All right, you're gonna get a phone call.
I'm just being perfectly honest. Like if he takes the team that he has, in my opinion, and you put that over in the East, you know, I don't think it fares very well. But with him being on the West, on the West side, I think that gives him a chance to vie for at least a West Division championship, to be honest with you. Just if he's competent as a coach, in my opinion.
Yeah. Ain't no doubt that he has his work cut out for him because the tradition is strong. It ain't no excuses, you know, at Grambling. You got to win. And, you know, here's what I don't know. I don't know how strong his coaching staff is. And like you said, Rocky, it's new, you know, So, Coach, I wanted to bring that up for you, Coach, and I wanted you to tell me what's going on here as I look over the coaching staff. And I'm going to share my screen here for a second, guys. So I want to share this screen. I don't think this is correct, but you're talking a general manager and 6 coaches. Does that seem like a full roster of coaches to you, Coach? No. Not at all.
I don't see a running backs coach.
Right. Jason Rollins was the head coach at Southern University that year. And then he came over from Louisiana Monroe. Everybody know where Eric Dooley came from. The wide receiver is a young guy that I know. And the general manager, Joseph Nix. I know Coach Nix, and Nix kind of run the show for Mickey, and Nix come with a wealth of experience, you know, of running a program. He actually recruited at one time for the Canadian League. So, yeah, I know Joe Dukes. He's kind of bounced around the conference as well. But, yeah, it's almost like Coach Joseph going to be coaching the position.
Yeah, you know, looking over the coaching roster, I don't see a running backs coach, and I don't see a D-line coach.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, but Rocky, let me tell you something, and I gotta say this is an HBCU joke, but don't let that website might not get updated to the 5th game of the season.
Okay,
I'll be honest with you, because
okay.
that's up to that. And let me tell you what happens with an HBCU. The SIAD might not even know who has the password to update update the website sometimes, and they got to find the guy to go update it. So I will kind of give them a little bit of grace on that. to be honest with you, because I have seen that. So I think I was pulling something up, and I thought that I saw a different list of additional coaches that were added. Plus, he named guys that are not on this list too, that he was talking about, that he has coached, that he was talking about when Coach Cole asked him about it.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. All right, guys, we got a caller. Caller, you're live on the air with HBCU Coaches Corner. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is Chuck Hunt calling from Monroe, Louisiana, 33 miles east of Grambling.
Okay.
All right, Chuck, thank you for calling in.
Yes.
Do you have a question or a comment?
I just have a comment. I think I was looking at you talking about the coaching staff, and look at those guys here on staff like Jason Rollins and Reggie Nelson and Dale Lee. I went to McNeese in the 90s, and I remember those guys when they were playing football down there at McNeese. And I was looking at them on staff at Grambling, and I was looking at we brought, all those guys. I was looking at not Rollins, but the others. These guys coached under all of them coached under Broderick Falls and Coach Dooley. He was on the staff. That's what I remember, all of them on that staff. And I think he's trying. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's a great example, throwing things like that, throw something against the wall, see if it sticks. That's just if that's a great example. Hopefully that's a great example.
It sounds like he's trying to bring that Bob staff back together, except for he's in the head. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what it's saying. That is thinking back to yesterday. Think about the 2016 Celebration Bowl championship. I was at that game in 2016, and I attended in 2017 when they played North Carolina A&T. And that was at both of those games. And my parents went to school at Grambling in the 60s. My father played in the marching band. And by the way, my father was a roommate of Coach Eddie Robinson's son, Eddie Robinson Jr., and he was our neighbor one time here in Monroe.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Well, let me say this. If he assembles that staff and gets similar results, he'll go down as a legend, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Hey, anything can happen. He said he put staff, and you see Coach Cole. I think back when you were assistant at Southern, when Pete Richardson first came. I came out of high school in 1993, and I remember when I was at the '93 Bayou Classic, and people didn't know who Coach Richardson was. I remember him when you coached at Winston-Salem State. You see the games on BET. But look at what happened. Magic came out. They put all that to rest about Coach Richardson and gave Southern all those winning seasons. They hadn't seen those type seasons since A.W. Mumford. And it's about like I said, it's about the what that saying? That's the exercise about the Jimmies and the Joes.
Yeah. Well, right there. That was that season. That was the season that Pete Richardson came, and Coach, we ran through everybody like water run through a wet bag, man. And but Pete took over 22 seniors, Coach, and 18 of them were starters. And all we had to do, number one thing, was pull them out of man coverage all the time. Because, see, Marino Casson, I'm telling you, it's your history now. Marino Casson was a man-to-man kind of guy, Alcorn, right? He coached at Alcorn over 23 years. So when he came to Southern, he brought that same football style. So they played man. And what happened was they lost some close games at the end of the game where DB slide. You playing man the whole game. That's mono on mono. I'm bound to catch a pass on it. And that happened to him the year before we got there. And we returned all those guys. Yeah. And out of that team, about 5 of them went to the NFL. 2 of them was in the secondary.
Oh yeah, I hope.
3 of them was in the secondary. So we had some great players when we got there. So hopefully, I guess that's
you
kind
mean
of what
former Dallas Cowboy Toast Holt played for the Southern.
Yeah. We had some.
No, he played at Alcorn.
You talking about Holt? Okay, yeah. Holt.
I played at Alcorn. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Toast.
Yeah,
Holt.
when they covered Jerry Rice. Yeah, that's why it took that was able to hold Rice in the '84 game. Yeah.
Yeah, I played against Holt. I could play against Holt. Okay.
That's your era. Oh yes, I remember that era. Oh yes.
We put 30 on the coach.
I want to talk about the point about him, Coach Joseph, bringing people back to Grambling. Well, that goes back to my point. These are for me people that are familiar with the area, that understand the challenges, that are not going to say, oh, we don't have this, we don't have that. Because, see, that means a lot, too. And, Coach, you know this. Sometimes it is about making sure that you have continuity and no complainers. Because sometimes Coach, you know this best. Like you said, you got to ride them buses, you got to sleep in them offices. And if people want to stay in a 5-star hotel, this ain't for you. So you got to understand, so Gramblin's not a 5-star. It's a 5-star program in name, but far as facilities and where it's located at, you got to have people that want to be at Grambling. So I think what he kind of did was saying, hey, look, you've been here before. You know how to recruit there. You know what the limitations are, but you also know what the positives are. And I think that's what he did, because I think also, too, we kind of look back and say, oh, why he didn't get this guy, why he didn't get this guy? Because we know first thing like we talked about, well, he might not be able to get this guy because the guy say, I'm not coming to Grambling for $70,000. You know, I'm going to go here for $120,000. But if you got a guy that say, hey, I've been down there, I want to, you know, I'll deal with you, Coach. I understand what Grambling is, because, again, there are some things intrinsically that Grambling gives you by being part of with that G. And, you know, like I say, those coaches get a lot of little side stuff, too. Don't get it twisted. So that's why I think the reason why, Coach, that's what you saw from that.
Gotcha, Coach. Gotcha.
Hey, I want to thank you, Chuck, for calling in, man. We appreciate it. Please continue to listen. Hey, I want everybody who's listening to take a moment, all right, and do something for us right quick. Go look into, if you're watching on Scotty's channel, go to the description, select Rocky Miller YouTube, and then subscribe to our channel. Please do so. That's how you're going to keep up with what's going on with the HBCU Coaches Corner. It's hosted on my YouTube channel. So if you want to know what's going on, the next guest we'll have, please go ahead and select subscribe, and make sure you put in a comment if you would like on this channel. If you like this kind of content, right, let us know you like this kind of content. If there's a coach out there that you want us to bring on the show, put it in there, because that's one of the things that compels these coaches to come on, letting them know that there's a market and that they need to come out and speak to their fans. If you want the Southern coach, if you want the Alcorn coach, if you want the Prairie View coach, you want those guys to come on, please just put it in the comments when you're gonna have it, and so we can forward that information and encourage these coaches to come on, because not every coach wants to be interviewed. Not every coach wants to market their program, but with your encouragement of their fan base, I think they'll do just what Coach Berry and Coach Robinson and now Coach Joseph has done.
Hey, Rocky, we don't have any more. Do we have any more callers?
No, not
okay.
Right now.
Well, real quick before we cut, I know we want to get out of here. But, Rocky, I just sent you a link of the Grambling schedule. Can we just pull that up and let's talk a little bit about that before we get out of here? We
great minds think alike, don't it? See, I already had it up, Steve. I had it up and ready to go. Now, and what I really wanted Coach to do is go through this schedule and see how many wins are there for Coach Joseph.
All right, with Raging Cajun, they playing the Division I program. Grambling's new, Coach is new. It'll be close, but I'm gonna give it to Raging Cajun.
Okay.
All right. Oh, we open up with Texas A&M University Commerce and Commerce, Texas.
You got a game for that one. We got a game for that, Coach.
Tuskegee.
Tuskegee.
Okay. Tuskegee come to Eddie Robinson Stadium. Every team in America gets better the second game around. I got Grambling on the last slide. I think they'll get out to Tuskegee real good. Quick,
okay.
Early, and hurry.
All right. So we got one victory.
Texas A&M Commerce. They run the ball exceptionally well. Their offensive line coach down there, Coach Manny, they've been really, really running the ball successful. But I got Grambling in a close one. And I don't even see why they even going down that way. But, hey, it is what it is. I got Grambling by 7. Here we come, Jackson State. Man, great game, great time to play them. I'm going into my third game. Hopefully I don't have no injuries. You got a new offensive coordinator at Jackson State. Coach T he decided to start calling his own plays. As well as he's off to a start. It's going to be a close one. They playing at Grambling. I'm gonna take Jackson State just because the coach has been in place and he was a part of the Deion Sanders celebration. I'm gonna say.
And we'll be at the State Fair Classic. If the Lord willing and the creek don't rise, we'll be right there.
Yeah.
And
we will fly in on Sunday, and the interview and media day for the State Fair Classic is on that Monday. So we will be there. We will be able to interview the coaches again. We'll be able to interview Al Wash, who promotes this game. He's been doing it close to 50 years. He the owner. We'll be interviewing the band master for both teams. We'll be interviewing the SIDs as well. Great game, Coach. We'll see where they are. Prairie View has been in place. You got to go with the coach and the team that's been in place. I'm going to take Grambling for the upset.
Oh, okay. Curveball.
So it looks like we got 2 wins at about mid-season. Coach Joseph and the G-men are 2-3 headed to Alcorn. Who you got, Coach?
I think Crowley is going to be doing well. I don't know what he got around him. You know, Alcorn play great defense all the time. So I'm going to go with Alcorn in a close one.
All right. They've invited UAPB down to the hole for homecoming.
Crowley goes wild. 4 touchdowns. Great game. They open it up. They start feeling real good for themselves. Coach Joseph got a hold to them now. They got some victories up on them. I'm gonna take Grambling in a big one.
All right, Coach. Look like by my count, they're 3-4 and they're headed to ace time.
Ain't no problem. Grambling by 2 touchdowns at least.
All right. They 500 going into the last 3 games of the season.
Woo.
And they have to travel to Bethune-Cookman.
A storm is blowing in. Bethune-Cookman's second year. I heard their recruit class is outstanding. Again, they got to get things going. Man, I'm in the dark on this one, Coach. I'm in the dark.
Can we get some help, Bishop?
Hey, I'm going to have to listen, here's a fun fact. The only HBCU team that beat Grambling during their championship run was Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman has had tremendous success against Grambling the last 4 times. I think they've only lost once. Yeah. So I'm going to have to take Bethune-Cookman.
I'm going to ride with you, Coach. I'm going to ride with you.
All right.
I'm about to fight. Put him back up there, Coach.
Carlos Johnson.
Call in, man. Don't be texting. Call in and tell me why I'm hating on my alma mater. All right. Call on in. Call on in.
All right.
You might have some information that I know. I mean, we don't know. Okay, we go. Alabama State. No, I got to go with the Hornets, baby. By that time, Andre Body, Carlos, Texas Southern guy, he gonna be thrilling. He gonna be setting it on fire. He'll be been settled into the offense. He throws the long.
My name is Dennis Jr. and I won $500 on the lunch for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.